All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are going to recap the Rangers Astros American League Championship Series. This series went to 7 games. It was a great series. It really was a lot of drama. Um, Game 5 was probably the best game of the series, just because of what happened late in that game, I would say. Um, but like if you go through, like the first 2 games were close. Then you had the Astros, winning in Game 5 or Game 3. Well, they won in Game 5, but they won in Game 3, 8-5. They were winning for the most part in that game. Rangers made it interesting towards towards the end because it ended up being 8-5 the final score. But Astros had control of that game. Then in Game 4, Astros won 10-3, but I would say I would say that Game 5 was the best game because the Rangers were winning. You go into the top of the ninth inning, and what ends up happening? Jose Altuve hits a go-ahead 3-run home run off of Leclerc to put the Astros up 5-4, and that put the Astros up 3-2, and I thought, yep, series is over. Series is over. And that was, on that day, I did the segment on should Jose Altuve be in the Hall of Fame? And, I talked about it with my friends that night, I believe, or, over the weekend, and they said, like, the cheating scandal is going to be what maybe holds him out. And I said, you know what? I mean, yeah, but I think he probably still gets in. But but again, it also, like, there's also, like, the precedent of, like, well, if they get in, then the guys that took steroids should also get in, too. So, yeah, I mean, what the Astros did was a lot different than what, steroid users did. They're using steroids, you're using technology. So, yeah, but it's a conversation that's going to be had. But Jose Altuve has put together a great career. I mean, that put them up 3-2. So that's actually what we'll start the recap from because that's, because I remember I did the segment that day, and sure enough, I'm watching it right over here. Got my TV over here, which you can't see, and I'm just sitting there shaking my head as the ball left the yard, and I'm like, yep, here we go again. So, top of the first, Jose Altuve or Alex Bregman led off the game with the home run. Who started this game? Oh, Montgomery started the game for the Rangers. And Justin Verlander pitched for the Astros. So, yeah, Bregman started off the game with the solo home run, so that put them up 1-0. There wasn't any scoring until the bottom of the 5th inning. Nathaniel Lau, he hit a solo home run to tie the game at 1 apiece. Top of the 6th, Jose Abreu singled to make it 2-1. Adolis Garcia, who has had a great postseason, 3-run home run in the bottom of the 6th off of Verlander to put the Rangers up 4-2. And then, of course, Jose Altuve in the top of the 9th inning, he hit a 3-run home run to put the Astros ahead, and that was the game. Astros went up 3-2, and I thought, yep, series is over. Yeah, Leclerc, who's been good, gave up the 3-run home run. Aroldis Chapman actually, hasn't been bad this postseason. He recorded his 2 outs in the game. Montgomery went 5 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. And Verlander, he had a little bit of a rough start. 5 2/3, 4 earned runs, 6 hits, 3 strikeouts. The bullpen for the Astros did its job. Presley pitched 2 scoreless innings. Abreu, this was the game that the benches cleared in this game, and I think Abreu he appealed his suspension, and then he didn't pitch well in the games in Houston. So Hector Neris, he pitched an inning and a third in the game. But yeah, there was the benches cleared in that game. And Adolis Garcia hit that big home run. But the Astros had the last laugh in that game at least. But ultimately, the Astros won the battle, but the Rangers won the war. Then we go back to Houston. Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. And he just continued his postseason dominance. He picked up his 4th win in the postseason. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Bullpen did its job. we'll look at the scoring. So Yordan Alvarez, he started off the game with the single to score a run. That put them up 1-0. Mitch Garver homered to tie the game. Jonah Heim hit a 2-run homer to put them up 3-1, the Rangers. Dubon had a sac fly in the bottom of the 6th. Mitch Garver, another double to put them up 4-2 in the 8th inning. Corey Seager got hit by a pitch that scored a run. Adolis Garcia hit a grand slam in this game that put them up 9-2. That was basically it. Rangers won that game. But I said going into the game on Monday, Max Scherzer on the mound, I was like, Scherzer did not pitch well the last time. And he was going to be on a short leash. Like, we knew that, but I was like, I still think the Astros are going to win this game. And Rangers dominated. 11-4 was the final score in this game. Corey Seager started off the game with a home run, put him up 1-0. Rangers put up a 3 spot in the top of the first. Adolis Garcia singled, Mitch Garver singled, so it was 3-0. Bottom of the first, Astros answered. They got a single. Jose Abreu drove in a run to score Altuve, so it was 3-1. Adolis Garcia hit another home run, so that put them up. That put them up 4-1 at that point. And then Bregman homer to make it 4-2. Evan Carter had a 2-run double in the top of the 4th to make it 6-2. Adolis Garcia had a 2-run single to make it 8-2. Nathaniel Lau in the top of the 6th hit a 2-run home run to make it 10-2 Astros. Yordan Alvarez hit a single in the bottom of the 7th to make it 10-3. Adolis Garcia, another home run to make it 11-3. And then the bottom of the 9th inning, Jose Altuve homered, and the final score ended up being 11-4. But let's look at Adolis Garcia for a second. So in these playoffs, now in this game, in Game 7, he went 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs. In the postseason this year, he is batting .327, 7 home runs, 20 RBIs, and he has an 1,100 OPS. He has been unbelievable in these playoffs. And listen, and he was an all-star this year. He's been awesome. Going to be a key component for the Rangers in these in the World Series here. But gotta love what the Rangers lineup was doing. The pitching, I mean, Scherzer, he only pitched 2 2/3, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, so still not great. They put in Montgomery, 2 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. And the bullpen did its job as well. Leclerc gave up a run. Sabors, he gave up a run too. Chapman didn't give up any runs. So, Chapman, let's actually look at what Chapman's numbers have been in these playoffs, actually. So this postseason, 7 games, no win-loss record, 0-0, 1.42 ERA in 6 1/3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.42. So the whip is still high. But Rangers pitching did its job. I do worry about it a little bit because, outside of Montgomery and Eovaldi, Scherzer hasn't pitched well. The Heening-Dunning combination hasn't been great. So, that's something you got to think about going into the World Series against the Diamondbacks. But, I mean, the Rangers, they were a team I kind of disrespected. I had them losing to the Rays, but I said they'd upset the Orioles. But I said the series against the Astros was going to go 7 games. I just thought the Astros were going to win it. But this series went pretty much how the 2019 World Series went. Every road team won a game in the series. No home team won. The Rangers went up 2-0. Astros won all 3 games in Texas. And then the Rangers, they won big in both games in Houston. Now, the other thing too is the Astros weren't that good at home this year. I think they ended up finishing with a 500 to below 500 record. What was their record at home? Let's look at that really quickly. Astros home record 2023. Let's see. Yeah, they finished with a losing record this year at home, 39-42. And you would think in a way it was completely different. They were 21 games over 500, 51-30. So yeah, I mean that you kind of surprised by that. Because especially when the Astros have gone on these runs to win world championships, I mean, the home field advantage is big for them. I mean, believe me, as a Yankee fan, I know. But this year, they weren't good at home, and they didn't win any home games in this series. So I don't know what was up with that. That was just very weird. But yeah, the Astros, there will be no defending champ. The Astros were taken down in this series. And you know what? I said the series should go 7 games. These are both very good teams. Rangers have a very good lineup. And I liked what I was seeing from Montgomery and Eovaldi, and they ended up winning. Now, I thought Scherzer pitching Game 7, that was going to cost him because he has an over 9 ERA in both games he's pitched in the postseason. But you know what? The Rangers were able to get it done, and they're in the World Series now for the first time since 2011 when they lost in 7 games to the St. Louis Cardinals, which was one of the greatest World Series of all time, arguably. And there's no players from that team that are on this team right now. I mean, Nelson Cruz was still playing this year, but he's not with them. Elvis Andrus is on a different team. Beltre is gone. Josh Hamilton, Michael Young, all those guys are gone. This is a completely new team. But you got to credit Bruce Bochy because this was a great hire by the Rangers. And he is definitely one of the main reasons why they're in the position they're in. Obviously, you're going to put the players ahead of that because the young players that they've had, Josh Young, Evan Carter, Jonah Heim, and what you're getting production out of, your all-star Adolis Garcia, who's having a postseason for the ages right now. I think that might be a little bit hyperbolic, but the guy hit 2 home runs the other day. I mean, he's got an 1100 OPS, 6 home runs. I mean, he's playing really well. And Corey Seager's doing well. I mean, this lineup is a tough out from top to bottom. And they showed that. And Bruce Bochy, he has the opportunity now to win his 4th championship. And his do that with a different team. He brought the '98 Padres to a championship, not to a championship, but to the World Series. The Giants, he won those 3 championships with in the 2010s, and now he's going back with the Rangers. 3 different decades. So, you got to give him a lot of credit. That was a good move by the Rangers to bring him in. He's definitely factored into why they're, where they are. And what the Rangers did in the offseason, getting Nathan Eovaldi, trading for Jordan Montgomery, those were good moves. And those are paying off. And those guys, and Jordan Montgomery is going to get paid in the offseason. I know the Yankees, obviously, are one of the teams that I think are interested, but I said this last week, he should say, I'm good. I'm going to go somewhere else. You guys didn't want me. You guys didn't see me in your postseason rotation. But again, how bad does that make the front office look? That you said, we don't see him as part of our postseason rotation. And he goes out there and he pitches, amazing in these playoffs. How does that reflect on you? So, congratulations to the Rangers. It was a great series. And, they like I said, they will be in the World Series for the first time since 2011. And let's see if they can get it done. It's going to be a very interesting World Series, to say the least. Something that really nobody predicted at the beginning of the season, but here we are. Rangers 90-72 to finish their regular season. And they will be going up against a team that we'll be talking about in the next segment, which is the Arizona Diamondbacks, taking down the Philadelphia Phillies in 7 games. So that'll be what we talk about in the next segment. But before we do that, I just want to remind you guys, when it comes to to tipping and donating and getting your comments recognized, once again, make sure to go to the link streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. It's right there. It's also on the ticker on the bottom as well. Once again, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that's a great way for me to spotlight your comment in the live broadcast. It gives you your chance to be part of the show, as it says, become part of the show from to be a part of the podcast. Not just the baseball podcast, but the football podcast, as well as the other podcasts as well. That's why, it makes the broadcast better, makes it more lively, the interaction between the host and the listener, or the viewer. And then obviously for the bonus coverage materials that are not covered by this broadcast, make sure to go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network, and that is where you will find all the exclusive content on all of the podcasts here on the GSMC Sports Network. So when we get back from our second break of the show, we will recap the National League Championship Series. Diamondbacks winning in 7 games over the Philadelphia Phillies. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.